It's portal season. We got to talk about it. The best players available in the transfer portal. A lot of different guys have either declared their intentions to transfer or have already transferred, or I guess announced their decision, officially been in the portal, if you hear what I'm saying here. The transfer portal is very much open and operating, and there's a lot to break down here in terms of the best players available. Now, December 5th is when it becomes fully open for all players, but as of right now, a lot of guys declared their intentions. I'm going to give you 5 right now of the best available as it pertains to the transfer portal. One name that you maybe haven't heard of as much during the regular season, but a guy you're going to get to know during this whole portal cycle, offensive tackle, Johnny Cornelius. Now, he's the offensive tackle from Rhode Island. He's 6'5", 310 pounds. Now, the reason why he didn't go to a bigger school, in my estimation, out of high school, one could be development. Some guys are just late bloomers. That's fine. Maybe that's a Johnny. I think the other piece is he played his high school football in the state of New York. Nothing against the state of New York. Played my college football in the state of New York. But the reality is it's not necessarily a recruiting hotbed. So the likelihood is that he probably just got passed over and lost in the wash. Well, that's not going to be the case anymore. He's been in the portal for 1 day, 2 years of eligibility left. He's got 16 Power 5 offers. Johnny Cornelius is a guy to know. And here's another thing. In terms of the transfer portal, I talked to a coach the other day about this. He said, offensive linemen are just like gold, man. Like, to be able to have a guy that, 1, you know is already developed, 2, is likely going to translate well, just because offensive linemen, the margin for missing on those guys is, pretty small. You don't miss often when you take an offensive lineman from the transfer portal. And just the fact they have experience already, that's a huge deal. Johnny Cornelius, a ton of experience, phenomenal size, been developed at the college level. He is going to be a guy that makes a program very happy. Again, 16 offers so far. He's going to have a lot more when this whole thing is said and done. So keep an eye on where he ends up visiting. A guy that I was a little bit surprised to see in the portal, just because I guess it didn't really cross my mind, and I thought he would maybe stay at his current location. But Kavosiey Smoke, running back for Kentucky. He is a very proven commodity. He carried the load for Kentucky this year when Chris Rodriguez was suspended. He's got 5.5 yards of carry on his career, over 1,500 yards. Now, that 5.5 yards of carry number puts him at number 9 in Kentucky school history. Translation, he's really good. He plays a lot of football, and he's got a chance to do something special wherever he goes. Now, I personally believe that Kavosiey Smoke has his best football ahead of him, just for the sheer fact of the matter that Kentucky's offensive line, they weren't phenomenal this past year. And Will Levis would probably attest to that, but they were still trying to get some things worked out among that unit. But Kavosiey Smoke, a guy that never really was able to fully reach his potential at Kentucky. Some of that's a durability thing. Some of that's being in the same running back room as Chris Rodriguez. But Kavosiey Smoke, again, a guy who's a proven commodity, and I truly believe will be a huge asset wherever he ends up. Again, he jumped in the portal today. Theo Wease Jr., receiver from Oklahoma. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, a big body and a big play waiting to happen. He finished the year with like 3 or 4 catches, over 100 yards against Texas Tech. Again, those are single game stats. He's a guy that Oklahoma fans were really excited about coming into this year, especially with the new wide open offense and Jeff Lebby. And Theo Wease Jr. was like a 5-star coming out of high school, so tons of ability. Kind of the same thing with him as it was with Kavosiey Smoke, just never was able to stay fully healthy. And I think, needless to say, that hindered what he ended up getting done on the field. But a guy who I think if he can stay on the field from a health perspective, tons of ability, tons of big play ability. You saw it flash multiple times at Oklahoma, and a guy that's going to make one program extremely happy. Like, he is the caliber of player that can be the alpha dog wide receiver for your program. And I don't think that's a stretch. So Theo Wease Jr. going to make somebody very happy, and someone that Oklahoma fans continue to stay excited about. Just never ended up being the right place at the right time. So unfortunate, but that's the reality. Trey Sanders, a name that likely sounds familiar because he was the number 1 running back in the 2019 class out of IMG. Now, he went to Alabama, got hurt in a car accident. And the feeling is he never was able to fully get back to himself while he was at Alabama. Now, he's healthy now, but the reality is with how crowded that running back room just consistently is at Alabama, it's not best for him anymore. It doesn't sound like it's best for Alabama anymore. But Trey Sanders, like I already mentioned, was a top 10 recruit. Tons of ability. If he can be in the right situation, I think his upside is tremendous. Similar to Kavosiey Smoke, I think his best football is very much in front of him. It only takes one good year for you to eventually get the NFL attention, especially coming from Alabama. Trey Sanders will be a huge get for whoever ends up landing him in this portal cycle. Been developed at Alabama so far. Like, he's a guy that will get it from a very early timeline, wherever he ends up. So a very big fish that's out there right now. Now, someone we're going to talk about a little bit later in this live show, Hudson Card. He, at one point in time, won the starting quarterback job at Texas. There was rumors, even going into the end of fall camp this year in Austin, that he was going to beat out Quinn Ewers. He is a really efficient passer, right around 65% for his career at Texas. And he also is a dual threat, like a phenomenal athlete. And think about the way that college football is trending. The days are becoming thinner and thinner where you can just have a pocket passer. Like, what defenses are now forcing you to do with how quick they're getting, with the pressure they're able to put on the quarterback, and with how athletic these linebackers are getting, you now have to be able to put the second level of that defense in a bind. And with the athleticism that Hudson Card possesses, was a receiver at the high school level like Travis at one point in time, had a 1,000-yard year, he can go. He can be that dual threat weapon for you. Now, he's looking for a Power 5 program, looking to win, looking to develop, all admirable things, but he is a starting quarterback caliber kind of player. And I believe he's that at the Power 5 level. So keep an eye on where he ends up. Again, I've got a couple of destinations for him as we get further into this show, but Hudson Card, a guy that will be another big get, as all these guys will, when he ends up committing to some school out of the transfer portal. So to recap, a Johnny Cornelius going to be a dog, an offensive lineman that is highly coveted right now out of Rhode Island, 16 Power 5 offers. Keep an eye on him. Kavosiey Smoke, wish nothing but the best for him. Great career at Kentucky, was never able to really stay healthy or be the lead back. I think he will get that lead back opportunity wherever he ends up committing to out of the portal. Theo Wease Jr., Oklahoma fans, frustrated it couldn't work out to the potential they thought it would. He's a former 5-star, big play, big body kind of wide receiver. Excited to see where he ends up. Trey Sanders, former number 1 running back recruit in the class of 2019, went to Alabama. The reality is, Bama's a crowded running back room. He's going to end up somewhere great. He's going to do some good things wherever he goes. Hudson Card, more on him in a little bit, but a phenomenal asset to whatever program acquires him. Can run it, can throw it, is a great leader. Also keep an eye on what a MBA program he ends up in. More on that in a little bit, but all those guys, in my opinion, for the time being, some of the best the transfer portal has to offer. Now, this is a segment I anticipate we will do more and more of as the portal gets more and more active. But right now, no shortage of guys declaring their intentions or already in the portal. Portal season is here. It's just getting started. So make sure you're locked in with us. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a minute of what portal season has to offer. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.